Welcome to our event Easy, Fast, Secure, Efficient Metal Engineering Today. My name is Dora Schneider. I'm Social Media Manager at Orgadata and I'll be guiding you through our event today. We want to talk about a complete construction process from BIM to a completed building and the interaction of everyone involved in the project. Therefore, we want to show you a successfully implemented project of our customer Bartholomeus. More about it in a minute. First of all, I would like to introduce to you our speakers today. I want to welcome Maurice Boulay from Aztec, a subsidiary of T.A.Project, Henning Wagner from CAD-PLAN, and Sebastian Bode from Orgadata. I'm looking forward to your presentations. I would also like to mention that you have the opportunity to use the chat function on the right side if you have any questions during the event. So let's get started. As I mentioned before, we would like to show you a project of our customer Bartholomeus based in Bergen in Germany. To get a personal insight, I grabbed my camera and made a trip to Bavaria. And what I have seen there, I want to show you now.
Wir sind ein mittelständisches Metallbauunternehmen, beschäftigen derzeit 65 Mitarbeiter und wir sind so ein klassischer Familienbetrieb. Wir versuchen auch das zu leben. Trotzdem versuchen wir so modern zu sein, modern in Anführungszeichen, wie es geht, um uns auch wettbewerbsfähig am Markt präsentieren zu können. Wir machen vom einzelnen Haustüre, Fenster bis zu einer Größenordnung von ca. 4 Millionen Euro versuchen wir abzudecken. Wir sind sozusagen ein Gemischtwarenladen. Wir bauen alles von der Brandschutztüre über das Fenster, Türe, Fassade, also der klassische Metallbau. Ja, im Metallbau bewegen wir uns zunehmend auch im Objektgeschäft, das heißt öffentliche Auftraggeber, gewerbliche Auftraggeber, Bürobauten, Schulen, Krankenhäuser und sind derzeit gut ausgelastet. Die Digitalisierung stellt natürlich für ein Unternehmen wie uns eine große Herausforderung dar. Wir haben einen riesigen Artikelstamm zu verwalten. Unser Hauptlieferant hat ca. 23.000 Artikel im Programm. Da wir aber nicht nur mit einem Lieferanten arbeiten, sondern auch ab und zu mit anderen Lieferanten, erweitert sich natürlich der Artikelstamm noch um einiges oder vervielfältigt sich. Das heißt, man kommt schnell an die Grenzen, ohne Digitalisierung diese Artikel zu verwalten. Wir investieren in Maschinen, wir bleiben immer auf dem aktuellen Stand mit Software. Wir versuchen viele Dinge, auch wenn wir manchmal auf schlechte Erfahrungen damit machen oder vielleicht die Ersten sind, die Erfahrungen machen. Aber trotzdem bringt uns das immer einen Vorsprung. Wir haben also die letzten Jahre versucht, unser Büro papierlos zu gestalten. Das ist uns auch überwiegend gelungen. Wir sind also zu 80% im Büro, drucken wir kein Papier mehr aus, außer die Angebote, die rausgehen, wo die Kunden teilweise noch haben wollen. Bei dem von uns erfolgreich abgewickelten Projekt Badylon haben wir alle drei uns zur Verfügung stehenden Softwareprodukte Erplus, Logical und Athena erfolgreich eingesetzt. Dies war ein öffentliches Projekt der Stadt Freilassing. Hier waren sämtliche Pläne vorhanden, ein LV als PDF und ein LV als GEP-Datei. Diese GEP-Datei können wir in Erplus importieren. Anschließend wird das Objekt dann von Erplus in Logical angelegt und damit haben wir dieses Objekt kalkuliert. An diesem Objekt hat es verschiedene Herausforderungen gegeben. Der Eigenanteil unserer Fertigung war ca. 60% bei diesem Objekt. Der Rest war Zukaufteile wie Kaltfassade, wie Markisen, wie Lamellenverkleidungen etc. Auftragsgröße war, wie schon erwähnt, ca. 3,5 Millionen Euro brutto. Das Zusammenspiel hat uns bei diesem Objekt schon geholfen, dass wir das so abwickeln können. So ein Objekt ohne Software, ohne funktionierende Zusammenhänge der Programme würde es unmöglich machen, mit unseren Personalkapazitäten dieses Objekt abzuwickeln. Und damit lässt sich dieses Bauvorhaben, in diesem Fall Badylon, erfolgreich abwickeln, einschließlich Dokumentation und Erstellung unserer Rechnungen und Verbuchen der Zahlungen. Weil eins ist schon in unserer Branche gut, es ist kein Ding gleich wie das andere und es stellt jedes eine neue Herausforderung dar.
Thank you very much for that introduction, Dora. An indoor swimming pool always poses special challenges, especially when it comes to the corrosion protection. Here the water not only comes from the outside, but also from the inside. But how is such a building planned nowadays? We would like to use this example to show you the workflow in BIM, namely how the so-called digital twin is used for all the planning processes between architects, the design office and the construction site. We will not bombard you with a lot of new vocabulary. On the contrary, today we want you to get a feeling of BIM and to show you that it runs almost invisible in the background if you use the right software. The digital twin is created in parallel with the architectural model in a design software for buildings. All trades are considered in this planning process. In our case, that's Revit from Autodesk. For you, this means that the digital twin contains all the information you need for your planning in this building. It is of course ideal if the architect plans this building in Revit right from the start, but it does not usually go like this. The advantage of this digital twin is that each trade includes objects from this area, and this happens parallel with the actual construction of the building. You get all the information delivered into the model, and thanks to your preparatory work, you can deal with your trade very precisely. Thanks to this planning, every element is entered into the floor plans and can be used by you in Athena, Logical and Erplus. What we mean to say by that is that BIM offers a great help for you in the calculation, execution and assembly of your trades. You may still shy away from BIM tenders. The BIM process is not intended to be a burden for planners and contractors, but to support you, dear viewers, in a way never seen before. The goal is also to shorten or simplify the processes. We have the right solutions available, but more about that later. Use the 3D model provide as a comprehensive planning basis. You do not need any additional planning software to display a building. It is sufficient to use a simple viewer. The viewer you can see here is a free version of Autodesk. This Autodesk Web Viewer is a real data swallower and can handle all file formats from Autodesk and CAD-PLAN as well. An impressive tool. We will look at individual items here, which we will examine in more detail in a moment. We have the entire building of the Badylon indoor swimming pool in Freilassing digitally in front of us. And in this web viewer we can also use a wide variety of tools for measuring and generating cross sections. What means digital transmission really? How this could work in your country? In our region, and I speak about the German-based language areas, we use standard formats. That means you will receive an GAAP file, example for Germany, or an SIA file for using in Switzerland, or an ÖNORM file for using in Austria. These formats can be used in the ERP system, which you can easily import in your system. Ideally, together with an IFC file, because then you can view the building in 3D, and depending on what you are using, show only your windows, doors and facades and hide everything else. As already mentioned, the best achieved with the Autodesk Web Viewer. From this IFC file, for example, the tender is extracted. That means that the tendering office takes the IFC file and reads into your tendering program. A file is created and you can then easily read it into the ERP software and use it further. It would be nice if you can tell us more about what are you using. Maybe you use Excel for this or something like that. Please use the survey after the show or write us now in the chat what you are using. Yeah, Maurice will now show you how this works using this example of this project in the ERP system Erplus. Maurice, it's your turn.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Dora, and a warm welcome to all viewers today. Erplus is a classical ERP system that is used for the aluminium windows, facade and steel construction. In the following demonstration, we will go into some of the features that Erplus will have to offer its users, giving them the best possible tool to follow up on their entire project, from calculation to invoice and from time scheduling to stock control. In the background, I already opened Erplus, and as Henning has already explained to us, we will start a journey by the import of the gap file that has just been handed to us.
After reading in the gap file, we have now prepared the entire specification for the pre-calculation. I would like to start with the calculation of the sled elements. In this case, since we have already produced these items several times, I'm going to use a parameterized calculation that automatically calculates based on the element size, material and effort. With the help of this function, you could also create parameterized grid price lists or any other construction and store them for future use. We calculate the aluminium elements via Logical. My colleague will present this to you in more detail later on. First of all, it should be said that Erplus and Logical access a common data pool and are therefore far ahead of a classic interface in which data is transferred manually. Here we have the first time jump, and I'm in the project phase in which all positions are calculated. An offer was created and has now been commissioned by our customer. You should notice that our position headings are shown in different colors. Green lettering, commissioned positions. Positions marked in black have not yet been commissioned. Positions marked in red would indicate on a missing entry. In the next step, we will now create a draft time schedule. Define any number of construction phases. With freely definable prepared macros, it's easy to generate extensive time schedules. Since the personnel capacities are managed in Erplus, we always have an overview of the capacity utilization of our various processes. A transfer of this time schedule to Microsoft Project is also possible without any problems. The architect has chosen profiles with a rather long lead time. In order to prevent later scheduling problems, we have the option to pre-order this material in advance from our supplier. We therefore place a purchase order for the estimated quantity. Now that this has been done, I hand over our Badylon project to our technical department, which now takes care of the measurements and the technical detailing.
Many thanks, Henning and Maurice. I would like to summarize it for you. The architectural model has become an invitation to tender. With Erplus, this has become an offer. And in the best case, an offer results in an order. But then the work really gets started. After we've made up a schedule and the material is on its way, the detailed planning is about to begin. And therefore we would go to the construction department. Henning, Sebastian, who wants to start?
Okay, Henning. Today you start. Catch it!
That is the reason why I like her so much, funny guy. Come on, give me the presenter.
Okay, Henning, just kidding. Here's the presenter and the stage is yours.
Thanks, Sebastian. Oh, that's a different one. Okay. So let us go over to technical things. We are back in the digital twin again, and we see the building here in Autodesk Revit. We are now concentrating on the facade element in the upper area, and we're seen here directly in the line of the roof. We will simply export this view as a DWG you can also export all objects using CAD-PLAN's own plugin for Revit so that you can use them in Athena later. With Athena you work innovatively and, above all, very efficiently in 2D and 3D. The northern view of the building has been imported into Athena. Now we need the dimensions, or better said, the overall dimensions. All dimensions come from the model and can be used quickly and safely. In Athena you have the option of designing the current representation in a technical perfect fashion with a few clicks using a sketch in Orgadata's Logical. Sebastian will demonstrate this to you much more precisely later. Getting the measurements can be done in 2D or 3D and is used very efficiently in connection with Logical. Only a few inputs are required and the element is back in Athena again, if you want, in 3D. Now we want to look at the possibilities of the connection situation. There is still one small thing missing for this, and that is a cross-section. So we use the vertically cross-section. We can get the data directly from the interface and display them in our plan. Surely you want to display everything with the AutoCAD dimensioning, don't you? Then just do it with less clicks, because Athena helps you with its intelligent objects. You can store your own profiles just for yourself or in a network with other users, regardless of whether they are free semi-finished products or special profiles just for your current project. In Athena, you benefit from the familiar working method from AutoCAD. Lay membranes, sheets, and insulation. You can adapt them later with the familiar handles you already know from AutoCAD. With Athena, you have more than 100,000 standard parts and all can fall back on standardized procedures for your daily work on designs. Please note the labeling of the elements. These can be created according to the company specifications with the push of a button and may as well be adapted very precisely. No overlapping of drawing elements and text, but a very clean and professional construction drawing as you imagine it. Even the dynamic labeling of the components, also in several languages, can also be placed with a click. This makes the heart of every designer beaten faster. We now add the plates and the attic formation. Simply complete the surface from the exported view in the dialog guide sheet metal processing function in Athena. The graph suspension for the sheet metal cassettes have been designed in the sheet metal working dialog and can be easily inserted into the sectional design via a projection. Even if you see a 2D section here, the projection of the sheet metal in the background is three-dimensional. This is just one of Athena's key strengths. We have finished creating the view and the sections and we now want to bring the whole thing into different layouts. How are you doing that now? With our layout technology, which is available in a really modern 3-hour online training module, you can place the sections and views directly on the plans in no time at all without affecting your designs in the model area. Adjust everything so that you have a coherent picture for you and scale individual view windows according to your needs. Take a quick look over all the viewports to see is everything in order and ready to go. I think these are things you expect from a modern CAD software. Simple, fast and effective. These are software solutions for your company. Now let us have a look as well at the attic as mentioned before. The sheet metal edging is a standard that you may always use in this form. Sometimes a bit wider, sometimes an edging is different, but the matching substructure for the interruption and fastening is always the same. We already have the sheet metal division above the facade tape in the drawing and we can now lead the sheet metal along the line and done. To get a good picture, we should attach the brakes and any corresponding component as a substructure. Select and determine position. Everything is done. Really nice, huh? Isn't it? Now let us talk about the sheet metal cladding. For this we use standardized U-rails as assemblies which are laid along the joints and construction edges. We simply repeat the same steps as for the attic. With Athena, you can use one function for different situations. You can later output all of this in lists and use it for cutting and ordering. Let us take a closer look at this profile. In this assembly, the fixing points are already predefined and are now adapted to the current situation. Not only the drill holes, but the entire assembly is edited and distributed to further bars, so that you can adapt the design very quickly and safely. This is how it looks now in perspective, and now we bring the U-rail to life and look at it all as a solid. Wow, looks good to me. Back to the sheet metal cladding with our graphs. Simply take it as a 3D model and hang it in. done. You do not have to manually count these single sheets, substructures with screws, etc. Our project browser does all of this with one click. The keyword that we use here at CAD-PLAN and you should remember is 2D+. This takes the 2D functionality to a whole new level. We had previously taken the complete facade attachment construction from Logical, and we will now return the fastenings that we have added to the construction, all with a mouse click. No more need to double work on designs in different programs. Of course, you can also copy these mullion operations within Athena and transfer them to other bars. Easy going. Sebastian will show you later how that looks like in Logical. But how do the folded sheets now get into production? Of course, via SAT output, click and done. If you want to check what exactly has been output, you can of course feed in the SAT file again and view it in 3D. Well, everything is in place and there are graphs in the right place? Great. Then we can simply transfer the rest to the other machines and look at the example of how to transfer to EluCAD. This will show you what digital possibilities Athena can offer you today. The tube with the processing is displayed, everything is in processing table, then production can begin. Later you will probably want to look at this section again in the Autodesk web viewer. So just start the IFC export, briefly determine what you want to export and look at the results. It feels like a vacation postcard with the ocean blue sheets and the attic, right? And with these impressions I'm now giving it back to Sebastian. It was fun watching it, right?
Oh yes, Henning. It brings very much fun to watch you using Athena. Of course, brings also fun to use Athena itself. But I can show you today two more things which are very, very great. And the first you can see here. The machinings which Henning makes one moment before in Athena are automatically also here in Logical. And you have nothing more to do than laying back and let the interface do your work. The second you may have noticed before in Henning's part, but before we are talking about this, I want to come to another point. Henning is today the Athena expert, and he can also construct complicated curtain walls in Logical. This brings me to a very important message for you. Logical and all the software solutions we show you today are very easy to use. So everybody in your company can use all the software solutions which we show you today. And you do not need special colleagues for every special software solution. I think that's the first good reason today why you should use our products. After that, let's come to the second important point which I want to show you today. You are one of the first which see the preview of version 12. We are here deep in the development, but you could already see here how great it is to use. The new version is based on the Office look and feel. So with this, you do not need much time to find your way in this great software. And all the functions you may know today and also some new possibilities are also in this new version. Be curious. This is a great step in the Orgadata world. But now, enough words. Let's work with it. The client would like to have additional access to the wellness area. And according to the fire protection concept, these must be constructed in special fire protection doors. Okay, with Logical, you can react on such spontaneous requests with complete composure. Because something like this works, it works like it's magic. If the geometry is complicated or easy as in this example, does not matter. The customer has already said that the doors should be installed as quickly as possible. That's good. And for this, so we should also think directly about the wall connection. Also this you can add here very fast and easy. And this is not only for a great that you have a great section for the planner or for the installation. But about this I will show you more later. Yeah, for this wall connection we need also some fixing holes, which we can also add here directly. And also this is a great possibility in the best construction software, Logical. Now, the Logical professionals among you may perhaps wondering, does this function, which I show you, seem new to you? That's no wonder. This is absolutely new. So have a look in one of the next updates. All in all, we can say, whether it's about profiles, glazing or hardware, Logical takes as much work out of your hands as possible that you can concentrate on the real important things. And because I don't want to withhold anything from you, here you can see the desired mounting holes directly in the frame on the digital profile, and with this also directly in your machine. But also to this we come back later. Yeah, the client wants to have 2 doors, and so we have to construct door number 2. It should be nearly the same as number 1, so we make it also as easy as possible. Yeah, the change number 1 here is another opening direction. Yeah, this is no problem. Change number 2 is a knob on the outside and no handle. Also no problem, and the door is finished. And not only here in Logical, but also in Erplus, with which you can write your offer, with which you can make your orders, and so on and so on. And do you know why this is so easy? This is so easy possible because we all work here with the same datas. And these same datas you can get only in Orgadata's Logical. Without these datas, the interaction you see today is not possible. More than 400 data packages with over 7 million articles are available for you for this purpose. All these articles are every day up to date. And at this point, I want to say a big thank to the colleagues here at Orgadata who work on it every day. Okay, before we come now to the next steps in our project, I want to go one step back to the wall connection. I had said that this is not only for a great section for the planner or for your installation, this brings also a great other possibility. With this, you can get with one click an overview which material you need for this wall connection. Only out of your drawing, Logical knows which material you need and calculates it and brings it, as an example, here you see it on the cutting report. Without any additional manual work. Isn't that a great solution? This is very, very great. But this is not everything which I want to show you in Logical today. To show you more, we go now back into the project. With additional doors, the whole building will be more expensive. And we all know that the clients do not like to spend their money. Who does? So the cost should be reduced elsewhere. Perhaps this curtain wall here is ideal for this purpose. Here we can try if the window construction is cheaper than the curtain wall construction. Because of the final decision, how it should be constructed has not been made here, so we will first consider this window as an alternative position. On this way, you can be sure that no material is ordered by mistake. Everything we show you today is complete process safe. Also here, we want to make it as easy as possible, so we don't want to completely reconstruct this window. That's why we make it as easy as possible, and we simply use the basic construction of the curtain wall. On this way, we are on the easiest way to get this complicated geometry. And when I look at the planning of the architect again, it should go around the corner, so I add here very fast in glass corner. Yeah, and then Logical does the rest for us. You only have to set the inserts here, and then it's ready. Here you can be sure that you are every time on the safe way, because Logical controls everything. Logical controls if this is really possible in this system. Yeah, the last step is to change some profile connections because the profiles are otherwise too long, and we are ready. 5 minutes ago, the customer called and said that he would like to know what this curtain wall costs in a window construction, and within 5 minutes he will have the offer on his desk. And in this 10 minutes, you have also time for coffee and a little chat to your colleagues.
So the elements and wall connections were finished in Logical and Athena and are automatically available in Erplus. But Maurice has calculated the lamella cladding very quickly before. Actually, that should be constructed even more precisely. What happens to it, Henning?
Thanks, Dora. Let us look at the design of the lamellas. We are back in Autodesk Revit and have asked the BIM manager to extract the lamella panel from the building so that we can work on it in Athena. Thanks to the Revit plugin developed by CAD-PLAN, the BIM manager, or you, if you have a Revit installation on your workstation, you can quickly and easily save the desired area from the building. Now we are back in Athena and can see here the original drawing from Bartholomeus. At that time, the lamella panel was created in 2D. Let us have a look at the view of the front. And please remember that everything was planned with Athena, and the part lists were also created in Athena for this object. All data from elevation coordinates to the welding seams on the steel feet can be brought to a design very quickly and conveniently with Athena. Let us now look at how the lamella panel can be created in 3D with the aid of the Revit template and provide with all outputs. From the imported dummy family, we can create a really lively ventilation system, including the aluminum lamellas, which of course also have as a technical item a relation to Erplus, the complete frame design with the screwed on holding profiles for the lamellas, and not to forget the complete steel design with the corresponding head and base points. You turn to the usual libraries and simply install the parts in 3D. Everything you have learned in Athena 2D is partially reused in 3D. This means that an integration of Athena 3D is possible in 1 or 2 weeks at most. We will help you with our support and offer you the appropriate training courses, all of which we have been conducting very successfully online this year. Everything that we show you here can be put into practice by you very quickly. Please feel free to contact us about this in the chat. In a few words, we can summarize that Athena makes it very simple and straightforward to construct these lamella fields as shown in the example here. Don't be intimidated by 3D designs. Get yourself familiar with it now and work in the new 3D workspace from Athena 2019 onwards in combination with the project browser, which you are probably already familiar with from the 2D Plus area. The individual profiles have already been created in the project and recorded in Erplus. I think it works without saying that one interface connects you directly from Athena with the data in Erplus. So you do not have to create a data assignment later. This was all done in advance when creating the profiles in Athena. You can already see how fast this processing works in the work preparation. A wire mesh model is turned into frame profiles, lamellas, insect screens and steel design with fastenings. We include it partially automated in our project browser, so that you always get an overview of the production data and can send it as a material request. In the project browser you have a clear tree structure with all the elements you need for later production. You can customize this tree structure or define it as a company default. All elements are equipped with various attributes and are also positioned according to your specifications, so nothing can go wrong during assembly. But the project browser can do much more. Create extracts of your designed elements quickly and without wasting any more time. All views, including isometry, dimensioning and the labeling of the parts, are created with a click. In our online labeling and layout technique training session, which you are welcome to register for on our homepage, you will learn how to use the layout techniques effectively and simply. If you are not sure or have never done an online training session before, just arrange a trial training session with us. You can also register for this on our homepage. This trial training session is free of charge to you. So now that we have everything together, let us export all the data into a part list so that this can be fed into Erplus later. Maurice will now show you how this works. Let's start.
Thank you so much, Henning, for that clear overview. And yes, we will go back into Erplus, picking up where we left off before, now that the technical department is ready.
After our technical department has successfully completed the processing, we are now back in Erplus. What you should now notice is the small green dot with the eye for information. A quick question to the practitioners here in the room. How often are the commissioned elements manufactured exactly in terms of size, type and design as started in the request? Right, almost never. And that's exactly what the I stands for. Erplus offers us a second level to define the so-called engineering variants. This means that the actual to be manufactured elements, with any changes that may have been made, are stored on a separate level. This means that you always have an overview of the commissioned positions and the positions that have to be fabricated. It goes without saying that if the prices differ between the first and the second level, you can create a supplement via the automatic determination of a price difference. No engineered variants have yet been created for this item. Therefore, we will do this now and import the parts list generated in Athena into the position to also complete the engineered variant here.
So there you have it. Our technical detailing and piece lists are now complete, ready for purchase. But just wait a minute. As our project is quite extensive and will be constructed into multiple phases, we must create those phases or lots into Erplus as well.
This means jumping into the lot management and selecting our project Badylon. Creating the lots and thereby splitting up the project into different building components, we can start assigning the items from our technical department, the so-called variants, into each lot. By changing the quantity of each selected item, elements can be distributed over multiple lots. We want to make sure that all the items are assigned in full, which in turn makes sure that the material requirement based upon the lots don't miss out on anything. Back into our project center, we will create a new material requirement. This time, the requirement is not based upon our estimation, but generated based upon our previously created lots. By simply selecting one or multiple lots, all assigned items will be selected automatically. This is of course a big advantage, as we can now be sure that the created material requirement is based upon the correct items and quantity. Let's see what information Erplus will provide us with when we open one of the created material requirements. A bill of material will be displayed, but we can also see that other information has been transferred from our lot management. It shows information about its origin, the desired delivery time, and the connected items from our technical department. Of course, all material requirements must be checked by our technical office. They can add articles, but also change some of the articles with its predefined alternative. Such a functionality could be useful when working with different suppliers for standard articles, or making use of different packaging quantities, and thereby selecting a better price ratio for the selected article. Shortly, we will have created an extensive list of material requirements, and are looking for an overview that will give us an up-to-date view of outstanding purchases, deliveries, and back orders. Erplus has just the right tool to help you get this overview. You can see that all the information from not only the material requirement will be reflected here, but also information from our warehouse, purchase department, and logistical department, giving information about lead times, deliveries, and even possible complaints.
I think the overviews shown from within Erplus are a big help. Controlling your project in terms of material status, capacity, and financials. But the question cannot always be answered from behind a desk, and the need for mobile processing is rising. In the third part, I will return with a view into the future and a brand new feature we have created just for you.
Thank you, Maurice. As we just saw, our budget is fully under control. If you have any questions about it, I would like to remind you to use the chat function on the right side. So let's go on and talk about the fabrication process. When I spoke to Bartholomeus, he told me that they also use the right tools in their production. Can you tell us more about it, Sebastian?
Yeah, okay, thank you, Dora. And here is Mr. Bartholomeus right. He uses the right tools and is at one of the first places with his production. As Henning showed earlier, that constructions can from Athena can be transferred directly to the machining centers, you naturally can also transfer the logical constructions directly to your production machines. If this is not yet the standard in your company today, for whatever reason, I have very good news for you. The connection between logical and your machine is fast, safe, and simple. Our colleagues supports you, and normally your machining center works after only one day with the data out of logical. I would like to show you this right now with your machining center, but I don't have your machining center right now here. And for this, we make a deal. Feel free to contact us, and we will show you as soon as possible in your company with your machining center how it works and how great it is. Sounds good, isn't it? For this topic, we are often being asked, does that limit my technical creativity? For this, a very big no. Everything you construct in logical, or everything which arrives in logical from connected software solutions, is transferred directly to your machining center as you want. The advantages for you are obvious. More efficient machine utilization, simpler and more secure processes, higher speed, more output, further increase of employee satisfaction, and much more. I think that speaks for itself. So, if you want to save time and money, then please contact us. Of course, we know that your machining center is only one part in your fabrication. Therefore, we are in development for a great tool to digitize the whole fabrication. With this, we started in Germany and a small selection of other countries. And Bartholomeus is one of the first customers which uses very successful the project which is called Logical MES. But back to the topic with which we can make your fabrication now more efficient. Without much effort. Only one step is necessary. let us know and we will help you. Mr. Bartholomeus took exactly this simple first step and is now very successful with his modern production.
Thank you, Sebastian, for showing us also this tool. Henning already spoke about the digital twin. This workflow is not only relevant for planning, but also for the facility management or the deconstruction in a few decades. Information has been added and many changes have been made to the architectural model. According to the digital twin, all this information should also be found in the model. Sebastian, can you go more into detail about it?
Yes, Dora, it's a pleasure for me to show also this to you. At first, one important information. Updating the digital twin is not up to you. There are others. As an example, the planner or a special job called BIM manager. But if somebody asks you for help, you can assure them very easy. Because you can very fast export all the windows and doors and so on you have constructed in Logical with one click on a button to BIM, to Revit in this example. Nothing more to do for you. And Henning, pretend you are the BIM manager. Here's my file, work with it.
Happy to do that, Sebastian. We will get the elements into the model and make the BIM manager happy, namely me. Let us say that the data has been sent by email, for example, and we are now starting to feed it in. So, as I said before, BIM runs invisibly in the background, at least when it's working with our products. Did I mention that? We are back in our Revit model and start with a logical element. Select the file, get a brief overview of the parameters and go in. In the process, the elements are exchanged and the parameters from the door and logical are displayed in Revit. A short look is enough to see that the type-dependent data from logical is directly visible in this Revit family. Everything comes automatically from logical. Now we come to the lamella panel that we designed earlier in 3D with Athena and look at the sheet metal facade on the right hand side. You can now see how easily these elements from Athena are replaced in Revit. The elements just mentioned are transferred in a native Autodesk file format. We will integrate the facade band of the roof area as an IFC file to show you the difference here too. The lamella panel and the sheet metal facade were read in by our BIM manager in no time at all. And now we come to the facade band in the roof area. To do this, we first hide the original element and insert the element designed with Athena and Logical into the building structure. The BIM manager simply links the external file to the existing element and it's ready and replaced. Via the so-called GUIDs, these elements always know their origin and know where they belong, just like your street and house number. But what exactly is transferred? We have already talked about the parameters. Now let us get to the details. Some of you have probably had something to do with BIM or have already heard something about it. What is always noticeable are the different statements about the level of detail. Your client must specify a level of detail when they tender concerns BIM. These levels are indicated as LOD. LOD means level of detail or level of development. A look back. In the beginning, we got ourselves LOD 100 for the lamella panel that was just the rectangle. Now it has worked out very well and can return as LOD 350 or LOD 400. Why is this so important? It also used to perform collision checks, which means that the BIM manager checks whether, for example, the base plates meet the building where they are supposed to. Let us look at the differences to the IFC format. At first sight, everything looks nice, but you can already see differences in the type parameters and details. Let us just say that the most important things are in. That's exactly what IFC was developed for. IFC, it's called the Industrial Foundation Classes, is the worldwide standard that all CAD software products should support. In this case, we refer to Open BIM. IFC can be compared to DXF. All CAD software products should also do this. Also some better and others may not be as good. That makes me thinking back to my beginning in metal construction. Actually, I would better not. Precisely for this reason, it's worthwhile to work with so-called native formats, which we provide as a plugin, because then much more information gets transferred and the elements are always displayed correctly. And this procedure is then called closed BIM. In February 2021, we make a BIM webinar, and stay tuned, we will invite you to watch this for more detailed information about this fantastic working method.
So, wir sind jetzt vor dem Projekt angelangt, das wir vorher planerisch besprochen haben. Hier steht es nun, vollendet, 2 Jahre in Betrieb, dauerhaft geprüft. Und ich denke, wenn man einmal um das Gebäude herum geht, wird man die Dimension erkennen und auch die Schwierigkeiten, die darin stecken, weil doch sehr viele Ecken, Versprünge etc. Schnittstellen, verschiedene Gebäudeschnittstellen vorhanden sind, die man auf den ersten Blick so nicht sieht. Wenn man nur den Plan sieht, denkt man sich, es ist ein einfaches Gebäude. Aber wenn man das Gesamtkunstwerk so betrachtet, denke ich, es ist ein anspruchsvolles Objekt geworden. Wir haben in unserem Auftrag eigentlich die komplette Gebäudehülle. Alles, was Sie sehen, bis auf die Flachdachabdichtung, diese war nicht in unserem Leistungsumfang. Aber wir haben von den Attikas über die Fassadenverkleidung, über die komplette Verglasungen, die im Außenbereich sichtbar sind, einschließlich der Vordachuntersicht, alle Arbeiten ausgeführt am Objekt. Die Besonderheiten an diesem Gebäude waren die Zusammenführung der verschiedenen Elemente. Wir mussten hier planungstechnisch die Elemente zusammenfügen von den sozusagen eigengebauten Elementen über die Blechfassade mit dem geringen Toleranzausgleich. Wir hatten hier auch die Besonderheit, dass wir verschiedene Profilsysteme eingesetzt haben. Die Kombinierbarkeit lag uns sehr am Herzen, dass wir in eine Aufsatzfassade Türen unserer Wahl einbauen konnten. In den Lichtdachkonstruktionen sind spezielle Dachflügel eingebaut. Das war uns ein großes Anliegen. Wir mussten teilweise Sonderbeschläge einsetzen. Die Ganzglasecken, die man am Gebäude sieht, mussten berücksichtigt werden. Und wir mussten alles zusammenführen, so dass wir hinterher das Erscheinungsbild bekommen haben, das sich der Architekt gewünscht hat und das jetzt vorhanden ist.
What we have just seen now is state of the art today. I would like to review this from the point of view of a construction company. An order like this runs through all my departments without any media breaks. I have all information I need everywhere and can be sure that nothing gets lost. I have all documentation about the scope of services, so I easily could sell a maintenance contract, for example. And now let's talk about the future. Maurice, what did T.A.Project plan for the digital future?
In the final part of our presentation, we would like to show you our take on the future and show you how we think we could help our customers even more. But first, let me ask you this. Can you always give a direct answer to why and where changes have been made in the pre-calculation? Is the time schedule for each project within reach and accessible from any location, even on site? Do you sometimes miss information about upcoming deliveries and lead times when asked on the construction site? To answer those and many more questions, we have developed Erplus Cloud. Erplus Cloud is not just a copy of a locally installed version that you are familiar with, but a complete redesigned and flexible solution with all its well-known features and overviews. So let's take a look into our new Erplus Cloud and go into some more detail about possibilities and features it contains.
The Erplus Cloud is a web-based application that you can start from any browser. In the future, this will allow you to mobilely access information about projects, financials, contacts, and lots more. The starting page is a one-to-one copy of Erplus with its known overviews. Similar to Erplus, you have easy access to the Project Center. This will offer you a free, configurable overview that will display all relevant information to the selected project. For example, status information, quotations, upcoming events, service orders, documents, and the weather forecast on the building site. The overview is user-defined and will automatically synchronize when changing between devices. Similar to the desktop application, you have easy access to all main features of Erplus. For example, the contact management. The functionality here is equal to the known contact management in Erplus. You have the possibility here to open, edit, and create new contacts and contact persons. It will also show related projects, accounts, documents, service contracts, and a history overview belonging to this contact. Another feature that you might be familiar with is the task management. This feature will allow you to create new tasks and assign them to an editor. Comments can be added here and documents attached. Furthermore, you will find a full-text search function that will list hits in 14 different categories, therefore giving you the best possible result overview. You can search for documents by using a free text filter and, if needed, filter more on any other given parameter. An exciting new feature that we can show you here are the journals. These were previously not available within Erplus and will be added first in the Erplus Cloud. The journals allow you to log meeting reports, project and contract reports, and attach contact persons, add documents, and assign tasks.
When people ask where the digital revolution is, the answer is clear. The future is already here. We have come to an end of my part of the presentation, and I would like to thank you all for joining us today in this online session. Further information can of course be found on our website, erplus.de, or later on in the chat function that is still available to you. Thanks once again, and we hope to hear from you soon.
Sebastian, what's about Orgadata?
Yes, thanks to Dora and also to Maurice. Looks really good what the future brings in the T.A.Project world. But also we at Orgadata takes every time a small look in the future. What I want to show you today is not completely new, but recently we have made it even better. Before it was great. Now it is something you can't live without it. Perhaps you have heard about it. Model-based input of elements. But what is behind this easy name? It is the easiest way to construct windows and doors for fast quotations and everything technical after that. And the best, everybody can use it. You do not need a training or experiences in window and door construction. It is something like a digital catalog or a configurator for windows and doors. But okay, let me show you how it looks like and how it feels like. You start every time with your basic elements. And important is, these are not the basic elements of Orgadata. These are your basic elements. And you can choose how they look like. In this case, I've only one example, but you can have so much as you want. And then it's up to you how you can configure the window. And you see how easy it is. But the big question here is who defines the possibilities? And this is you. You can decide in the development of your price list which options should be usable. And then it's finished. Your individual input of elements. And now let's come here to the result. You get a nice overview. And after that, in complete logical position. And with this, can make quotations, orders, and so on. Everything you know from Logical. Is that a great way? Yes, it is. And you need it. So contact us. And now you know what you have to do.
Henning, what plans does CAD-PLAN have?
It's very nice to see what T.A.Project and Orgadata have in store for you in the future. Quite cloudy, I would like to say, and I did not speak about the weather outside. But no, it's sunny today. It's nice. Back to us. We have some great things in store for you. Of course, we will release another Athena version in the beginning of next year, namely the Athena version 2021. Just a word or two things about this version. A new assembly editor has been developed which makes the creation of assemblies extremely easy. And it's sensational to use. As always, we will talk about the new developments of this version in a special webinar in March next year. The other thing is, Athena get a product logo. This product logo will decorate your desktop or your star tiles in the future if you upgrade to version 2021. But that is not at all. We are always listening to you, dear viewers, and also our field service come back to us, to Frankfurt, and have some requests and suggestions from your side. We have noticed that, and the architecture is becoming more and more complex and demanding for execution companies due to the use of design software products such as Revit, for example. For this reason, we have analyzed this and would like to present you today the perfect match to Athena. So hold on tight and fasten your seatbelts. Here comes the A and the O for metal construction and facade technology. Today, we present you exclusively our new product, Apollon. Apollon is a parametric CAD modeling software for metal construction and facade technology. Apollon is the perfect match to Athena. When parameterization in designs become necessary, regardless of whether it is a complex freeform surface or a unitized facade, Apollon is the perfect product when it comes to multi-layer facades. Do you work, for instance, with the complex individual element facades where many element types result from different characteristics? Apollon was developed exactly for this purpose. Control your designs via tables or use Excel tables for them. Well, I think you already become curious. So, quickly top up your coffees, lean back and enjoy Apollon. As already mentioned at the beginning, Apollon is the ideal complement to Athena. With Athena, you can simply design your sketches or the other geometries which you may have received from an external planner or BIM manager and then easily transfer them to Apollon via the clipboard. Apollon is a standalone product that contains the core of Autodesk Inventor. Thus, we combine the logic of facade technology with the power of Inventor. And with Inventor, the high compatibility to other Autodesk products such as AutoCAD and Revit is 100% guaranteed. In Apollon, you work completely in 3D. You do not design or draw, you model your project in the future. Special functions have been developed for facade technology and are very intuitive and quick to use. Model special profiles and adjust all levels graphically in a simple and fast way, without leaving your familiar working environment. Work on assemblies in an oriented fashion and then simply use them in your design. Select the geometry, determine the assembly, and the element is assigned. The assemblies in Apollon are true all-rounders. This means that you use the assemblies in such a way that a subsequent change has direct influence on the design. Simply connect the assemblies with each other and the tidy graphical dialogue are reduced to the essentials. They can also be positioned freely so that you always keep your design in focus. Define infields with the most diverse layers. Determine the variants, for example, single strength glass, double or triple insulating glass or panels. Appropriate materials including the spacer are always offered on variant by variant basis. CNC outputs? With pleasure. You can open the dialog and then use the filters to determine which assemblies should be output. Use the format your machine needs, whether SAT, ECW or STEP, everything is possible. But now comes the core of Apollon. Assembly-oriented work will not let you go in the future. Take your previously defined assemblies into the current drawing and join them together with the other assemblies to form a unit. Apollon helps you with the positioning. You can also use countless standard parts here to connect them together. Apollon's intelligent functions save you the trouble of having to attach parts twice. Do you want to attach further frame parts, additional sheets, or other components to the element? Here too, Apollon demonstrates its strengths with Autodesk Inventor Core. Not only can the connection plates or gratings be installed quickly and easily, even baffle discs, for example, that must be provided with a milled pipe can be smoothly installed in 3D. You can now position the finish element on the building structure and also quickly split it horizontally and vertically to see whether the element facades with the anchor plates is placed in the right place, just as you had planned. And if we have already completed the output to the machines, it is of course also easy to position the elements in different views on the CAD-PLAN. The drawing derivations, including the view, offer further advantages beside the display parts lists. Why bother with complicated detailed drawings when these can be defined, filled and positioned fully automatically here? The dimensions for an exact positioning of the element at the head plate of the shell construction are quickly laid out on the plan so that all of those involved can see these details immediately. Great results with just a few clicks. That makes Apollon your tool of the future. All of this will be easy for you in the future with one of the most powerful 3D cores worldwide. Whether you adopt freeform surfaces or other geometries from other programs and execute them with the option just seen, or model the required geometries yourself in Apollon. You can do all this with Apollon in the future. The future is going to be great. Apollon already transports you, my dear viewers, into a new dimension. Do you still design, or are you modeling already?
That sounds very interesting. Thank you for sharing your innovations with us. I believe we all can be curious about what comes in the future. Many thanks to our speakers today. We are now at the end of our event. Our chat will stay active for another 30 minutes. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Afterwards, you will receive an email with further information about the software solutions you have just seen, as well as a little survey. We would appreciate your participation. We would like to take this opportunity to thank our customer Bartholomeus for the opportunity to shoot on location, the city of Freilassing for the support, as well as the responsible architect's office Löweneck and Schöfer in Munich. Thanks to our audience for watching. Stay healthy and see you next time.